Once upon a time, in a quiet little village surrounded by golden fields and tall green trees, there lived an old woman named Paro. She was kind-hearted and simple, and every morning, she carried 2 large clay jars to the river to fetch water. She hung them on a long wooden pole that she balanced carefully across her shoulders. One of the jars was perfect and always held the full amount of water. The other had a small crack along its side. By the time Paro returned home from the river, half of the cracked jar's water had leaked out. For years, this routine continued. The old woman never complained, and every day she filled both jars and walked the same dusty path home. The perfect jar was proud of its work, always delivering a full load. But the cracked jar felt ashamed. It thought of itself as a failure. One morning, as Paro bent down to fill the jars, the cracked jar couldn't hold its silence anymore. "Mother Paro," it said softly, "I must apologize. I am broken. I leak half my water every day. You work so hard, but because of me, you don't get what you deserve. Please, replace me with a new jar." Paro stopped, surprised to hear the jar speak. She smiled gently and said, "My dear jar, did you notice the flowers that grow along your side of the path?" The jar was puzzled. "Flowers?" it asked. "No, I never noticed them." "Come with me today," said Paro, "and look carefully." As they walked back toward her small cottage, the cracked jar looked out. On its side of the path, bright wildflowers, yellow, red, and white, bloomed beautifully in the morning sun. On the other side, where the perfect jar hung, the ground was dry and bare. When they reached home, Paro set the jars down and said kindly, "Did you see them, my dear? For years, I have known about your crack. I planted flower seeds along your side of the path, and every day, as we walked home, you watered them without knowing. Because of you, I now have flowers to decorate my house and to sell in the market. You see, you may be broken, but you bring beauty and joy in your own way." The cracked jar was silent. Warm tears, if jars could cry, seemed to fall from its broken side. It finally understood that its flaw had given purpose to something greater. From that day on, the jar was no longer ashamed. It carried its water proudly, knowing that even though it leaked, it was helping life bloom along the way. And so, the old woman and her jars continued their daily walk to the river. The flowers grew brighter each season, painting the path with colors of gratitude and love. Villagers often admired the sight of Paro returning with her 2 jars and asked, "Mother Paro, how do your flowers grow so beautifully?" Paro would smile and reply, "With a little water, a little care, and a little imperfection."